Welcome to Walnut Grove Cultural Conversations. This is the first one of hopefully many. We're setting out to kind of have a conversation about a Christian's perspective on what's going on in the world. Right now in the world we're surrounded by Christmas things, right? Put Christ in Christmas, or as we learned yesterday in church, if you want to watch our video from our online service about putting Xmas back in Christmas. But
putting the X back in Xmas.
Yeah, putting the X back in Xmas, which may sound crazy, so go check that out. Yeah. One of the other things that we're kind of seeing is there's some interesting stuff going on this year especially. 2020 has been a crazy year, but one special thing that's kind of cool about this year is for the first time in 800 years.
Man, hold that up. 800 years.
It's
a ton.
It's a long time.
Yes.
Almost as long as Judi Dench has been alive. So, I don't know why I took a shot at her. But one of the things is...
We're sorry. Please forgive us.
You're Dame Judi Dench. But what we have is this opportunity on the 21st of December to see the aligning of Jupiter and Saturn, which has been called for many years the Star of Bethlehem or the Bethlehem Star. And so that leads us to kind of have a conversation about Bethlehem itself. So as we take a look at this Christmas season and the Bethlehem star coming, what is it about Bethlehem that is so special?
Yeah, it's hard to ignore Bethlehem and this story of Scripture. Man, it becomes the epicenter of what God is doing through Jesus Christ. I mean, remember Ruth?
Yeah.
You remember David, the shepherd king, who's from Bethlehem. And then you find that everything in the Christmas story starts to be drawn, not to the big city of Jerusalem, but for some reason to this small offshoot, right? This town of Bethlehem, right? Magi come there, shepherds are there, angels sing the flash mob,
Yes,
if you're going to have a flash mob. And Bethlehem becomes this place where God says, this is where I'm doing something amazing, and I want you to see what it is. And for me, I love the shepherds. I don't know about you.
Yes, the shepherds are a great thing because it means even people who have the lowest of estates, those that actually, according to Jewish tradition, was an unclean profession. They were considered special because they were the ones that were visited on that night.
Yeah, and that's important because these shepherds that were out in the field that the angels come to were most likely raising sacrificial lambs. And so at 1 year old, the unblemished male lambs would be taken, born in Bethlehem. Think about this. Born in Bethlehem. But they would make a journey in their life to Jerusalem to be killed as a covering for sin. And when the high priest was done with the sacrifice, he would come back to the people and he would announce something. I want you to listen to this. It is finished.
That is amazing. See, that's one of the amazing things about God and how he works, is weaved throughout the history of Israel, weaved throughout their traditions, without them even realizing it. God redeems those things, and he declares it is finished, but he also uses those things, right? He uses the things of nature, right? Like the stars aligning at the right time. He uses this shepherd that they have got some stigma in their culture. And then they use the town where David, who would be king, who would have a promise later in his life that there would be a king who sits on his throne forever.
Forever, yeah. And
then you get this amazing picture of Jesus on the cross. Jesus on the cross where he declares, it is finished. What an amazing thing. And I think that that's such a cool situation where we can kind of, on the 21st, we can take a look towards not only Bethlehem, not only towards the Star of Bethlehem, but ultimately to the cross, as God seemingly forced all of history into that one moment, forced all of the stars and planets moving and aligning to a moment.
And think about this, is we get the star, and it brings people from the east, these people who aren't Jewish, who haven't followed the laws that were traditional, and God draws the outcast, he draws the far away, and he draws them to this, like you said, to the star, to the place, and ultimately to the cross.
Yeah, so hopefully that gives us a little bit more perspective on some of the power of the Star of Bethlehem and some of the power behind what God actually did on that Christmas night, that first Christmas night. And so I hope that you are blessed, and I hope that you can join us as we put these out on Wednesdays, and we kind of take a look at things that are going on in our culture, and we just have a conversation about them.
Yeah.
So,
and usually with coffee.
Yeah, hopefully.
Cheers.
I need it. Here's to many more.
Cheers.
We'll see you.
God bless.